Let's talk about AI story writing. So it's Monday morning at 5:57 in the morning, and it's taking some extra time getting out the door because somebody else used the car and she's much shorter than I am. So, curse all the hobbits and their short little legs. AI story writing is kind of a big topic lately because it's one of those things that you wind up speaking heresy on Monday morning before 6 a.m. if you do it wrong. And you can't really find somebody who doesn't have a strong opinion about it, which is kind of cool because you can have some fun conversations. And one of the things that really sort of hit me was a gentleman by the name of John on YouTube. He has a fantastic channel going over science fiction news. He's also a multiple best-selling author on his own. And one of the stories he hit, actually it's been like 4 stories in like the last week, has been about the use of AI stories submitted for article purposes. And for years and years, I've kind of had trouble with Microsoft products. They're kind of expensive for the results you get out of them, if you know what I mean. And as a joke and as a method to learn Spanish, I made a Spanish pickup lines book. One of the pickup lines is are you Microsoft? Oh, why don't you come to my house and crash for the night? Ha ha ha. So Microsoft's not really one of my favorite organizations, but Bill Gates had a really smart quote that he put out years ago. And it went something along the lines of, whatever you put into the machine, you're going to get out of the machine. It's a shit in, shit out kind of thing. And he said it was basically, machines are really good at replicating whatever you put into them. So if you put in smart inputs, the machine's going to replicate your smart input. If you put in a dumb input, you're going to get a dumb output times 1,000. And that's kind of how the whole AI thing works. So AI for story writing, when you put in your prompt and you ask the computer, write story for me, and then the dumb human hits enter. The dumb human has given the computer shit input and is expecting magic on the way out. And guess what? Thus enter our heresy Monday morning. You have now created spam. Because you've taken all that lack of effort and you've multiplied it by 1,000, and now you've got this miserable excuse for a story pop out, and then people copy that dross and publish it for cash. And it's like people wonder why their stories that they've just put into the AI come out terrible. Okay. Let us not speak of that heresy anymore on Monday morning. Now, let's take AI for story writing so that it is not heresy on a Monday morning. That whole, it is not heresy and I will not recant. Who remembers that movie? So, this whole rash of videos coming out of this gentleman John's channel about AI being used for creation of stories. Okay, great. Again, dum-dum input in, dum-dum input out times 1,000. You're going to suffer the results that you suffer. I know very little about Neolithic human history, for example. I have decided, as a thought exercise, as practice, as etc., to include the Neolithic era as a setting for one of my stories. I am using AI to do my research on that story. And at some other day, we can go over AI prompting if it blows the skirt up. But for now, let's just stick with AI for story writing. I am not using that AI to produce the text of the story. I am using the AI to ask it questions for the research. In a grand total of about 4 hours, going back and forth, thinking, pasting, standing up, walking around, in like the week or two that I was prepping and fiddling with this story idea, basically doing the background research. And credibility when in your writing is something else I probably need to hit at some point, because I've had experiences with that, people suffering from it in their own writing, and talking to them about it. But credibility in your writing comes from having the ring of truth in what you're saying. So if you're saying a bunch of dumb stuff in your writing that makes no sense in either your setting or in reality, you're gonna have a bad result. And that bad result's gonna happen because people are gonna read what you're writing and it's not gonna make sense. If it doesn't make sense, you've kind of killed your own story. So when I'm using AI to write my story, it's as a research tool. So I'm asking the AI, and apologies to the algorithm, but I have a murder plot that begins the story. It's in the first couple chapters on the Neolithic side of the story. Well, I'm like, poison would be a really good idea to start this off because this type of character, etc. Well, my little brain gets to thinking and it says, gee, maybe I should ask the AI research tool about how this culture might have used. And lo and behold, when I asked the right question, the AI spat out the right answer. Well, not the right answer, but an answer that set me on the right path. Now the AI actually turned around and corrected me. Because I asked, I have a character who might, in my Neolithic story, who is trying to poison someone. And this dude behind me got the high beams on, so look at me, I'm on the spotlight. So when I put into the AI and asked the question about, poisoning in the Neolithic era, I got corrected in the AI. It basically told me the science and art of the poisoner was not really invented or perfected until ancient Rome. Oops, I'm 10,000 years out of time. So, because that piece of information put my character or my desire 10,000 years out of time, I simply had to adjust my story. Because I knew that, because I asked the right question of the AI, and I did not rely on the AI to craft the story for me, I didn't use the dumb prompt of, AI, please write me a story, you're going to get a bad result when you ask a uncreative large language model to spit out a story that you plan to publish. It's not there yet, and it probably won't be until there's a singularity, and next thing you know, we're fighting Skynet. So if you're going to use AI for your story, use AI for your story, and in 2 hours, ask it all the possible questions you can think of. And when you phrase those questions correctly, I got like a 45 to 60 page document now of answers from the AI pertaining to the pieces and parts. And each question I turned into a heading. So I have a whole question on poisoning, and it turns out that I didn't want to use an actual like poison. And basically this woman and her brother wound up using snake venom from a local poisonous snake. And because that correction was made by the AI when I asked about the poisoner's art in the Neolithic-era, I had to go and I had to divert my story. Now it's more interesting because now we've got people experimenting and being creative and being characters with agency of their own. Because even in that era, they knew that a snake bite was a bad thing. So if they took the thing from the snake bite and put it into somebody, they'd get bad things out, which is correct. And the cool thing about that was, by using the AI asking about the poisoner's art for this murder plot in my story, it prompted other stuff that popped up in my little head. Well, the Army has a field manual, FM 2176. It's the survival field manual. Well, the survival field manual in the Army has some really great primitive technology advice on how to handle ingested poisoning. So, when my character survives the poisoning, I opened FM 2176. Sorry, it's early in the morning. And I read about ingested poisoning. And guess what I did? I took that ring of truth from the field manual, stuck it into the story, and now I have logical, period-based solutions that allow me to tell a more detailed and in-depth story that carries the ring of truth, because now we can see that this character is actually logically and plausibly acting in such a way to save his life. So, asking an AI to write your story, you're going to get crappy spam results. Asking the AI, asking the large language model to turn around and put good information before you when you're asking the AI the correct questions, using proper prompting, framing your question, prompting correct, asking and prompting correctly, you're going to get a better answer. So the answer to the heresy question of the day, using AI and StoryWriting: don't be a dum-dum and ask the AI to be creative and write a story for you. It ain't going to work. Use the AI to produce that 40-page reference document that's super easy to jump around because you've put headings and jump links in it, and you can go to those sections. One thing that the AI was fantastic for was, I don't know much about Neolithic languages. The AI has that sort of stuff in its memory, in its World Wide Web. I asked that damn thing for names, for characters, And I got a character list like 50 people in like 3 seconds. So that whole naming of characters in the Neolithic era solved. So if you want to do something with the AI for your story writing, don't be doing it. Don't ask the computer to be creative for you. Use your squishy brain parts for that. Ask the AI for reference where it can go back and can look at smart people's work. Ask the AI for the large bulk assistance in production names, because I got a group of like 25 people who can be traveling with this dude, and I don't want to name 25 people all by myself. So I asked the AI for names with the etymology of the names. So by asking the AI for the names, the etymology of the names, it allowed the AI to spit out the name dash definition, and then I could take those names and I could slot them into the characteristics of the people that I wanted to use, because I already have the characters in mind. The trick is naming them, because you just hit a point where it's like the limit of advance for the day. Sorry, I've been doing the Black Rifle coffee promotion. No, I'm not an affiliate. Anyway, I'm here. It's time to go and beat people up for Monday morning. Have a good day, everybody.